Hey guys, welcome to the post-review discussion for Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain. So we'd like to start doing these a little bit more. This setup is probably temporary. I don't know what I'm going to do for them. I'll probably maybe do it in front of my board game collection, or maybe I'll just do a webcam on the computer. I don't know. But I wanted to get I wanted to start getting OtherJoe and Delrith involved in the post-review discussion. It's going to be like talking about spoilers, behind the scenes stuff with the AngryJoe show. So Joe's here to tell us a little bit about how that experience was. If you guys know what I'm talking about in the review. Okay, so I guess let's just start. This game was fucking fantastic. Was it not?
It was great.
I mean, this is insane. 2015 has the best games. We're going to have three potential 10 out of 10s. I gave Witcher 3 a 10 out of 10. I damn near gave Metal Gear Solid a 10 out of 10. It missed it. It got a 9. But it is still game of the year contender. Yeah. And then we've got Fallout 4 coming. So just want to get that out of the way that Metal Gear Solid is one of the best games of the year. Why did you have so much fun playing? Because obviously...
I lost track of time. Like, I just sat down and started playing. I was like, all right, I'll do a couple missions. And then by the time I know, it's like, Jesus Christ.
I gotta go to work. I
was like, yeah, I gotta go to work. It's like, all right, I gotta put it down. But I pretty much got lost in it, and I was having so much fun with my characters, sneaking around, and just being a badass.
What about it for me was that Metal Gear Solid traditionally has been sort of a linear experience. You have to do stealth in this section, otherwise, and you're dead. You know, snake. You know, but in this one, you can do kind of the approach that you want. Now, of course, it's easier to do stealth, and I learned to love and appreciate the stealth, especially in this game. Right?
Yeah, I'm horrible at stealth, but.
When you do shoot, do you go iron sight or do you just hip fire?
No, I don't do hip fire.
You do the iron sight? Me too.
Yeah, I do the iron sight.
So I get real acquainted with that view of the pistol. Like, I saw the pistol more than anything else in this game, you know? But
it felt good to get a scope on the pistol at the very end. Like tier 6 or whatever, you get a scope on your train gun, you're like, yes, finally, after so long.
What about you for the style of game? Because it just seems like Kojima's like...
I've played a few other Metal Gears. I haven't played all of them. I will say that I did agree with the statement that you made where it feels like there was a lot less story than there was in the previous games.
Yeah.
I mean, the best thing to compare it to would be like Metal Gear Solid 4, which was the game before this, if you don't count Ground Zeroes. Because Ground Zeroes was really just a playable trailer.
No, it was a fucking demo.
It was a playable trailer. It was a playable trailer. And...
And now everybody sees how much content is in the real. I knew this was going to happen when I was at Ground Zeroes. So I was kind of extra hard on Ground Zeroes because I knew this shit was going to happen. I knew this game was going to be so much value. There's so much value in this game. It's fucking ridiculous. It's worth every penny of the $60. Sure.
Yeah, it really is. The way I like to do it is $1 an hour, and I've gotten over 100. I'm at like 120 at this point.
Easily.
And with the FOB and the Metal Gear Online we're getting for free in the future. It's going to be great.
Oh my god, that's what's going to bring it to the 10 out of 10 for me. But did you notice, like, towards the end in the grades, there seemed to be a lot of missing stuff there.
Yeah,
you know, there's empty grades or whatever. And I don't know whether that's kind of confirming that we're going to get some DLC or whether that's confirmation that production was fucked and there was supposed to be a chapter 3 because that would make perfect sense that all those empty spaces during chapter 3 called Peace, they found it, they data mined it. It's called Peace. Where, okay, we're going to do spoilers here, obviously. You know that, right? So Eli's story gets a lot bigger. Eli is Liquid Snake, right? Yeah. And he steals Salahanthropus.
There we go.
Woo! You say that 3 times fast. Say that 3 times fast, Joe. Salahanthropus. Woo! Right. So he takes the child soldiers, though I don't know why the child soldiers would go with him. It kind of seemed like he was a bully more than, I guess he bullied them in the
I think it was like Stockholm Syndrome. They're so used to being captive and being told what to do and brainwashed, they just listen to the authority.
Yeah. And so they stole it, and then there was going to be this whole new chapter where, he's on the Kingdom of Flies. It's an island that you go to that's been irradiated with the parasites or the disease or, the outbreak.
Wolbachia or whatever.
Yeah, and so you go after him and you shoot him and fight him and stuff. And so that was the biggest thing about this game that came to light, that a huge chunks of the story were missing. And if you've actually played it, you're like, yeah.
A lot of it is.
But what's so weird is on the other side of the coin, it's a complete and good experience.
It is a good experience.
So it's like really weird to know that there's missing stuff. And normally I would be cutting way more points than just 1 point, right? Yeah. But everything that you got was so substantial and good and polished that it made up for it. So
it did. It made up for it.
Yeah, definitely.
It was a great experience, but if you've ever, you need to go back, play Metal Gear Solid 4, and just enjoy the 4-hour movie.
Yes, I want to
enjoy the 4-hour cutscene.
Yeah, we got to go back, ridiculous. Joe, and play the previous Metal Gears because I have become a Metal Gear fanboy. Now I'm on board. With Ground Zeroes, I was like, there's some potential here. I'm gonna be having fun with Phantom Pain.
I think
Phantom
2
Pain
is the best.
Two
is the best. You gotta play 2.
Okay,
yeah.
I even want to play the fucking the Metal Gears, not the Solids, but I even want to go back and try the Metal Gears because that's where Big Boss is. Yeah. He's okay. Let's get into the biggest spoiler of the thing and let's discuss this. So, Joe, I don't know how far you got because I know in this initial review, Joe didn't get as far as me and Delrith, so we're going to spoil it for him in addition to talking about it with you guys. So, you're here. It's your job, Joe.
What?
It's your job. I think
I don't watch your videos, so.
So, basically, Joe, this is a story about Big Boss and how he turned into this evil guy because in the Metal Gears, these are games that come out afterwards, he's the boss that Solid Snake goes and takes down. But it's complicated because it's actually Big Boss that sent Solid Snake to go take... Okay, anyway.
It makes sense. No, it doesn't.
It makes sense now because of this game. But at the same time, it doesn't make sense.
It still doesn't make sense.
It still doesn't make sense.
Like,
we're gonna get that. Joe,
wait.
Big Boss is Joe. Big Boss is not Big Boss. You remember at the beginning of the game where you select your own face,
yes,
right? Then nothing ever happens with that.
Cool.
Cool. At first I was not cool with that because I was like, I don't want to make my own face. I want to be Big Boss.
You want to be Big Boss.
Right? Yeah. And then I made my own face and I was like, okay, I have no idea what just happened. And the game just kind of combs over it, right?
Yeah,
and it never comes up again.
I forgot about it too. Just brought it up. I was like, I do remember that.
You're supposed to forget about it. And I think what it is that you were either creating the face that you originally were of the medic.
Yep.
Okay, Joe, you're not Big Boss. You're the medic.
You are the
medic. And you know that guy that helps you out of the hospital? That's Big Boss.
That's the real Big Boss. Yeah.
Ishmael is the real Big Boss. And so you get this third ending, this true ending where it's revealed that you were Big Boss's best soldier. Because you're like, whoa, wait a minute. How all of a sudden, if you change your face around, do you have like all these badass military powers and knowledge? Well, it's because he was the best soldier in Big Boss's army. So, but, he gets fucked up. He's got the horn in his head and he's having delusions. So they use training on him to make him believe that he's Big Boss.
They basically brainwashed him and erased his whole life. Yeah. It's pretty much what happened.
It's kind of fucked up.
It is. If you start paying attention, you start realizing that even though you're fighting bad guys, you're not really good guys. You're less bad, but you're not good. It's like two different shades of black fighting each other rather than white and black.
So Ocelot actually meets up with Big Boss. He drives away in a motorcycle and he goes, "You become Big Boss." But I like that they made it where like you're both Big Boss, and you become. Big Boss through the game, you yourself. And that meta shit that Kojima likes to do is really cool. And so Venom Snake is now a unique character in his own right. Yep. He's not Big Boss, he's Venom Snake. So you got Liquid Snake, you got Solid Snake, you got Solidus Snake, you've got Venom Snake and / Punish Snake, and you've got Big Boss.
Yeah.
Who is the second Big Boss? The first boss was a girl, and she... Okay, anyway.
It's complicated.
So, I love this story. I recently, did a lot of history, did a lot of research for the review. I love it. I think it's cool, and I want to go back and actually play the games because that you'll get even more context to it. But I was disappointed because technically, the transformation that happens, the big thing that happens in Chapter 2, which I mentioned in the review, Del, go ahead and let people know what it is.
Which part?
The horrifying part where you recruit whole time. You're recruiting all these badass soldiers.
And You know, the first of all, I want to say that there was a huge plot hole with the game that I felt was so dumb. As the only person that ever fucking was in their right mind was Miller the entire fucking time. You're bringing all these really questionable, proof of loyalty.
It's not a plot hole. It's just people were acting dumb.
And he's like, yo, she can't talk. Like, Quiet, great example. She can't talk. She's a genetically engineered super soldier.
Why is she here?
Why is she here? Why are we letting her out? She's clearly bad. And everyone's like, shut
up.
Oh,
no. She shot the fighter pilot. It's like, dude, really? Skullface doesn't give a shit about a fighter pilot. He'll sacrifice one fighter pilot so that you feel like you trust her.
Right? And then you had Huey. Yeah. And Huey's doing this questionable shit all the time. And Miller's like, dude, this guy is an enemy. He's doing shit.
And it turns out Huey was the one that unleashed this
the mutated strain with the radiation that he did on sensors. And so that leads into like the most harrowing and crazy experience of that entire game, where you go back into your medical center, like your research area, and you're going through and you get to see how bad the virus got. All the dudes you recruited are like throwing up blood on the ground and they're like dying. And you got Miller on the thing, and he's like, you're going to have to kill all of them. And so you get up top, and you find out that they're trying to get out and everything, and you're like, oh shit, I'm going to have to actually do this. And it shows a cutscene where Big Boss doesn't want to do it. You know, it's like the last thing, and he's like hesitating. They go outside, they napalm him, and then he just, shuts his eyes and just starts shooting all of them. And you have to go through and kill all of them. And I think the most crazy experience was when you go in to that room and they're all like, we can't go out, and they're saluting and they're like doing that, and the Peace Walker theme's playing and they're humming it.
Oh, that was such a good part of the game. And when I said
crying,
I said, yeah, you're crying. Like, I said chapter 2 was weaker, but that part was like, yeah, okay, And so that all contributes to make the score a 9 out of 10, despite the story falling apart there towards the end.
I think the most impactful thing in that game was the mechanic they had for whenever someone died. Every time you're shooting him, it's like staff member has died, and then you just staff member has died.
So you hear it over and over. So yeah, that part of the game was really good. But what I initially thought and what I saw people talk about on the internet is, wait a minute, if you're not Big Boss, then that big transformation scene makes no sense. Why is Big Boss evil? It wasn't Big Boss that did that.
Yeah, it wasn't.
So is that a plot hole?
There's a lot of
I explain it in the sense that, no, it's still a legitimate, harrowing experience that changes Venom Snake, because it's later explained that Venom Snake is the first bad guy in Metal Gear. And so he goes bad because he separates from Big Boss, who, is telling him what to do, and now he doesn't want to do what Big Boss is telling him what to do. So Big Boss sends Solid Snake to kill Venom Snake. But before, you thought it was Big Boss sending Solid Snake to kill himself, because you're like, wait, what? How does that make sense?
No.
But now that this game is out, it's Big Boss sending Solid Snake to kill Venom Snake because he disobeyed orders or whatever. And so that just gives so much more context behind the game. I know the game, didn't originally think of that, but it makes it more cool to think about.
It's kind of still really crappy storytelling.
Why?
In the sense of, at the end of this game, you still don't have an impactful situation or any explanation from like 1987, which I think is where we are right now.
Oh, you're right.
And then to 1995.
Right. Well, that's what I thought Chapter 3 was going to be.
And he builds Outer Heaven, and that's Venom in 1995. And he just has nukes, and he wants to kill the Patriots.
Yeah, he's like
super military state. There's no explanation of what made him go from 87 or whatever to 85 and having nuclear weapons and wanting to bomb the world.
Right.
And then the same thing also happens after you kill that Big Boss, after Venom dies.
Right, then the real Big Boss
in 99 has nukes and has gone crazy.
And
it's like...
So that is the potential to still... What I'm thinking is that it would have been cool for it to have been explained in this game, and that's what people were expecting. So when people say the story ends disappointingly, that's probably what they're referring to.
It does.
And because I haven't had all the context of the previous games, it didn't bother me so much because I felt like this was a complete experience, even though it did sort of drop off. It was still really good. But I think that maybe they're purposefully keeping that open so that they can do future games. Now, I heard that Kojima didn't want to originally do this one. He was tired of it. He was done with it. Yeah. But then once it got started, he loved it, and he was, really doing. And then obviously this big fucking split with Kojima happened. So that's a lot of fucking drama, and
that sucks.
That's really, really sucks, because to me it's Kojima that has all these characters in his head, and he's the guy that directs everybody. But if you look at the credits, and I was thinking, okay, if this thing has to go on with Kojima, It might still work. It could still work because you got creative directors, you've got writers, all of those people. Yes, Kojima is the mastermind, but you've got all of those really talented people who know these characters too and worked hand in hand with Kojima about the characters. And I hate to say it, but who knows if, we might get a satisfying story even without Kojima. Because there's potential for explaining how Big Boss went crazy. But I don't know if they do a game like that because essentially you're doing the same thing twice. It would be Metal Gear Solid 5 just done again.
They could do what they've done with the other games.
Or do you play as straight up like a villain, like Overlord or something? Do you just start as a villain and you just
They probably wouldn't do like an open world thing again. They'd do like a closed story with cutscenes all the time.
That's a good question. Do you think that they would ever go back
and
do linear after they did an open world?
Because Peace Walker was kind of an open base management thing, and that was way.
That's where they got the mother base.
Yeah, and so they did do games after Peace Walker that were closed world again, and then they came back to the open world. So they're all over. They don't care. They do what they think is right at the time.
Okay, so did you like the ending of the game?
I thought as far as like whether or not it answers any questions, it sucked. I thought like you get to the end and you have more questions than you did when you started because at the beginning you're like, okay, I'm Big Boss.
Yeah.
That was understandable.
I'm Big Boss.
All right, I don't need to know how.
I'm not Big Boss.
Yeah, I'm not Big Boss. But then the ending is just like, okay, I'm not Big Boss.
But wait a minute, I am Big Boss.
It's like, where's
I'm not Big Boss, but I am Big Boss.
It was just like, the whole thing is, where is Soholanthropus? Why did we just let these kids steal a Metal Gear and leave?
Yeah, and then it's
they're just
wait a minute.
Forget about it.
Don't worry
about it. It's fine.
Buy the special DVD edition because it's only on this. So, Joe, get this. So, the game, there was supposed to be that part of the game, and nobody knew about it except for if you bought the special edition of DVD, you get to see all the cut scenes that were cut. Only if you buy the special edition. So what the fuck? I mean, thank God there's YouTube and shit. That's some messed up shit. Basically, charging for the rest of the game, even though it's not in the game. And that tells me that it was kind of pretty much supposed to be in the game.
It was supposed to, yeah.
It really was. So I don't know how to feel about that. But overall, what would you say about the story? Disappointing or satisfying?
It was good.
Or both?
I think it was like 80% good, 20% pissed off because it was cut.
Right.
Because, I mean, honestly...
I was a little disappointed with Skullface, as a villain, because Skullface, I thought I was going to get a battle with Skullface. I liked how he was cowboyish, Ocelot is the main man, right? I fucking love all... He never did that, by the way. I guess he's still training.
He's still training this guy.
He did that when he was younger, So he's getting older. I don't know. Whatever.
He's got arthritis.
His hands are arthritis.
He's not that old. He's mid-age. Anyway, so, I thought Skullface was going to have a boss battle or something and not get beat up by his own, or get killed by Sahelanthropus. But it was a pretty cool segment in the game where he's like, this is for this.
He's shooting him, blowing off all his body parts and stuff. And he's like, kill me, and he's out of ammo. And he was losing out of ammo. And then Huey shoots him. And he's like, revenge! And it's like, oh.
Fucking Huey.
I hated Huey.
Get out of here. I hated his character. I hated his voice. He was just this whiny little fucking bitch, and I just wanted to choke to death.
Yeah, and then, you find out he killed his wife.
Yeah,
and everything, and he keeps lying the entire time, and they catch him in 35 lies. And then he's like, I didn't modify this thing that only I knew how to modify to kill all your soldiers.
And just making a bunch of bullshit military, or fucking war machines. Anyways, so, overall, that's your opinion on the story. Mine's very similar. Mine's a little more positive because, I don't have the context of the previous game, so to me it didn't matter quite as much that we didn't get to see this between this and this game. I'm sure they're going to honestly, I'm sure they're going to do another. They're going to do another. Yeah. Honestly, they're going to do another. I've heard some rumors, okay, that Kojima cares about his license, and Kojima wants, Metal Gear. So it's very possible that in the future, a company could be like, okay, I'm going to hire Kojima. I got a lot of money. Let's just go to Konami and buy Metal Gear, right? If Konami wants to do this AAA bullshit where they're like, we're not doing AAA anymore. If they want to do the pachinko machine bullshit,
there we go.
Then and pull out of AAA games, then fucking let them get out. I mean, they kicked aside Castlevania, they kicked aside Bomberman, they kicked aside Metal Gear.
Silent Hill too,
they kicked aside Silent Hills.
They did, yeah.
And it's like, what the fuck is this CEO doing? I literally, this is the worst fucking decisions in company.
Little risk, high reward. Gachapon bullshit phones.
And I'm even looking out for him because, yes, mobile gaming makes tons of money, but that could be a bubble, you know? And I almost think that's going to be a bubble that's eventually going to burst. And if this guy's just getting out to go into that, he's fucking up. I can understand, okay, let's keep these and let's do the mobile, you know, but he's going to do this. So if that's going to happen, I hope some company out there with dirty amounts of money is like, Kojima, don't you worry, my man. We got the license. You can continue to do whatever the hell you want. You can have as much time as you want. Go. Well, maybe not as much time because Kojima's probably one of those obsessive people where it'll take him, 15 years.
Hopefully, maybe, after Fallout, Bethesda's like, we could do this now.
Bethesda
would be like, yeah, Metal Gear.
Yeah. So,
surprising.
It would be crazy good, though.
I'm sorry, Joe, that we lost you a little bit on some of the end game stuff,
That's fine.
But, we had to talk about it with you. We want to know your opinion. Leave it in the comments. This is a spoiler video, so don't worry about spoiling shit in the comments. I'm sure there's lots of cool stuff we could have talked about. Quiet, I kind of gave you my opinion on her, and I think she's
amazing in the video.
I think she's a great.
Enjoy it?
Oh yeah. So we'll get to that in just 1 second. But as far as the controversy behind Quiet, just your personal opinion. Did you think that it was kind of ridiculous, her outfit?
Oh yeah, for sure. They were like boobs.
It's like
boobs,
just
boobs,
own it.
boobs,
And I
boobs,
think
boobs,
I forgot. I think it was Jim Sterling. That it was like just fucking own up to it.
Yeah.
I would have more respect for it if he was like, yeah, I like boobs. I wanted to see some chick half naked sniping people. And then we would have been like, oh, okay, But for you to be so cowardly and try to lie to everybody saying, this is my highbrow. You should be ashamed of yourself.
This is a celebration of women and it's high culture.
Once you figure out the reason, but no, the way the camera angles are, how she's pretty much naked. I mean, I understand that, people have shown me pictures because I haven't played the previous games of Raiden being naked, dudes having, shirtless and a lot of butt shots and stuff like that. Yeah. But these are alternate outfits or they're naked for a little bit, a purpose, story purpose or something like that. And this one, the story purpose, is completely veiled bullshit because the way they treat her in camera angles and stuff like that. And she's naked the whole time. And her avatars are boobs. And all these different things. Now, Joe, well, how dare you? She don't be so scared of sex. I'm not scared of sex. I wouldn't mind if Snake and Quiet were fucking in this game, I wouldn't mind a sex scene if they had done it right, if they had developed that relationship. You remember she's playing with the wire and kicking it almost seemed like there was a little bit of relationship because when she jumped in that van to go get the necklace, it seemed like Snake cares about her on a deeper level than just one of his soldiers. Oh, yeah. So and obviously later on in Afghanistan, that's a huge one.
That's a huge.
So you definitely see some of that stuff. So I would have been fine with it, but if Witcher did these things right, the women are sexy, but they're not over-sexualized.
No, they're not.
And when a woman takes her clothes off, just let it have purpose in the story. Oh, they're having sex. Or, oh, their relationship built up. But this one, she just starts...
She's always just like...
It's default. It's default this time. And then the camera goes like this, and it's... that stuff is like... I might have liked it when I was, 14, 15 years old, and I've not seen anything wrong with it, and be like, what are you guys talking? Fuck it. But I'm older now, and I'm like... And I look at it, I'm like, this is dumb. Like, this is juvenile. It's like, I want a little bit more. Because I know, I have some friends that are girls, and I've been, sharing games with them. They're like, oh, Joe, we watch your reviews, and you said to go out and buy that game, XCOM, I went out and bought it, and even though I don't play those games, I love it. Yeah. And so when I want to make recommendations, and I make a recommendation like this, and they're like, oh, yeah, and then they see all the females on it. Like, every single time a female showed up in this, they focused on the boobs. You remember the boss characters, the boss snipers? The first shot was the boobs, and their boobs were jiggling.
And you gotta point out too, if you watched the conference or Metal Gear Online, they were like, "Oh, you're getting female Big Boss," and she's fucking almost naked.
Oh yeah,
she's got like a bandolier. Naked. She's completely like almost.
Yeah, that was hilarious. There was ass shot, and chat went crazy. They were like, "Fucking ass, titties, big ass titties, fuck that ass.
And it's like, the leader of the military is going to dress like that.
So it's fine.
Makes sense.
It's fine if you want to market your game to that, but when you take elements like that and then stick it in a more mature game, and people point it out and say, that's kind of weird, or that's a little, I think that this and that, and then be okay with it when people critique it. Don't go, whoa, you can't say that about Quiet. How dare you? Creative freedom. Let anybody do that. Well, it's do it with taste. But anyway, so that's enough about Quiet. Let's talk a little bit more about Quiet. So, Joe, let's talk behind the scenes now of the review.
Come on, Joe.
Obviously, so how'd it feel?
Were you pretty?
Did you feel pretty? Dude,
if that's what she wore in battle, I felt...
We went to the costumes. So, originally, I wasn't planning on... I certainly wasn't going to dress up like Quiet, and... I wasn't going to do anything with Quiet, and wasn't it you that suggested it, I think?
Hey.
I don't know, it just came naturally.
We need to top our next videos. Right. We need to go above and beyond, okay? I'm willing to answer that call.
See, and then when we were buying the pieces, and we were looking at the pieces on the table as we were buying it, Joe goes, what did you say? Like, the things I do for comedy or something like that. I forget, it was funny. But the costume just came together naturally. I never expected the costume to look that good. Honestly. In the sense where it was like a good cosplay for Quiet. If you went out to a convention dressed like that, people would know.
Next time I go to Comic-Con.
You're going to go to Comic-Con and do it. Nice.
Yeah.
Bust in, Quiet time, bitches.
And that's my favorite part of the review. Joe was just like, I was like, do some poses. We'll figure something out, like a thumbnail. And then later on, we decided not to spoil it in the thumbnail. Yeah. But Joe was doing poses, and he was like, it's Quiet. He was like, Quiet. And he kept saying Quiet. And I was like, what are you doing? Quiet doesn't talk, dude. And he's like, yes, she does. Catchphrase. It's quiet time, bitches. It was fun.
She does talk, though.
Yeah, well, okay.
That is a good thing.
But there's a reason for it in the story. Obviously, her default mode is she doesn't speak English for a very specific reason. But she will for somebody she cares about.
Did you do the part where she leaves?
Yeah. Okay. Where Snake, she tells, that's why she talks. Because Snake got bit by a snake. By a
cobra.
Or a cobra, whatever.
That Cobra Kai.
It's the same thing. And then I bought this. This is a $20 snake just for one joke. I'm like,
Jesus Christ.
There was so many other parodies I wanted to do with, stuff in chapter 2, but I didn't want to spoil it. Everybody's screaming at me, I barely mentioned anything. People were like, "What?" So I was like, damn, that's okay.
Cobra.
So we obviously had a ton of fun making the Metal Gear review.
Why didn't he black the Cobra with his robot arm?
Why did you be like, okay, why did that even happen in the first place? This is a motherfucking, this is Big Boss we're talking about.
And he's in bulletproof armor,
right?
And body armor.
Oh yeah, if you wear body armor, which I notice you like to wear the body armor.
And the Cobra bites your ceramic plate arm, and you're like, it got me somehow.
Even the sneaking suit, I'm sure, has real hard material.
It says in the description of the sneaking suit, it's bulletproof. And so it's like,
it's bulletproof.
Whatever, man. Stop fucking with this. Well, it's artistic license. That shit happens all the time in movies. But I agree with you.
It was bulletproof, not venom.
Oh, right. It's bulletproof, not venom.
It's not venom proof.
It's like the Dune. The slower you go, it'll penetrate shields. So the snake was like, very careful. He's like, no! And people are watching him in real time, and he's like,
what's wrong with this guy?
Is anybody going to stop that? No? And the snake's like... And the snake's going slow motion too. Anyway, okay, so we had a ton of fun making the Metal Gear Solid review.
I had fun doing stupid stuff for it, though.
Yeah, this guy, so you saw those scenes in the background of the decoys and the RoboCop walker machine. This guy had way better upgrades than I did.
I loved it. Dude, I loved the decoys because he's like, you're pretty good.
You're pretty good.
And if you put a dude in the middle of decoys, he'd get up and he would just lose his fucking mind as he tried. Like, he would just look around like, huh? And he's like, stop making fun of me.
So let's talk, before we end this, what could they do for the next Metal Gear? If they do continue the series, Metal Gear 6, in what way will they evolve the series? Here's my idea. I'm going to go first.
Okay.
So they've gone from massive cutscenes to open world, or to lower cutscenes in open world. You think that they're going to go back to massive cutscenes.
I think so.
I think that they're going to stay in open world because once you offer that, it's hard to go back.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
But I think the new thing they'll be adding is multiple paths, branching paths in a Metal Gear story. I would love that. And that increases... I mean, the game is already insane replayability, but if you add in multiple paths with different cutscenes according to decisions that you made, that just feels so much more organic.
It's gonna happen.
I hope
it's gonna happen.
I hope so.
I like that one.
Well, we'll see.
So,
we'll see.
I don't like more cutscenes.
All right, that's your problem. Get out of here. Get out. No. You need to play the other games. If you play the other games,
you'll probably know
what's next. You play the other games, do the cutscenes and stuff. If you play those games, you get to this game, but the lack of cutscenes and the complete lack of story or any sort of thing, you're going to be like, holy shit, this isn't a Metal Gear.
I read about the Psycho Man, which is odd. They never named that floating kid. That's Psycho Manus. That's Psycho Manus. Yep. And I read, Joe, about, on the PlayStation 1, they had this level where you fight Psycho Manus. He's an adult. And... you actually, it's meta shit. He starts fucking with you. You can't defeat him. You actually have to unplug your controller. I'm not joking. And put it into slot 2.
Yeah, to beat him.
How the fuck would you know that?
On the back.
How the fuck would you know that? But apparently.
On the back of the CD case. Or if I remember correctly, it says how to do it. It's straight up. He says something that says, look at his cryptic case. Thing. You look and it says, something about controller.
That's just so cool. I love it when shit gets meta.
And it's like, holy shit, I beat him because he no longer knows what you're doing because he can't understand player 2.
Right, he can't predict you anymore. And they did something like that on the GameCube with some game. I forgot what it was called, like some Darkness. But it's just really cool. And so I was like, and when I was seeing the psychological elements in this game, I was like, next gen fucking with your head. And they never came. And that really disappointed me. And that's kind of went into the not giving it a 10 out of 10. Because if this game had something like that, it would... honestly, I was teetering as I was making the review between 8 and 9. And you remember that. We were talking about that for a long time, between 8 or 9. Ultimately, I felt it was strong enough to get a 9. But it could have been an 8 on that kind of basis. But what you want to do is you want to judge each game individually while still understanding what was in the previous game. But, it's hard to take a franchise over that many years and expect that game to jam everything in, so that's why.
I gotta say, if they did another game, the way that I think a lot of people would want it is, we've got our open world experience. It was great, but it seems like with how many years this game was in development to give us that, I think... less of that, like cut that in half, still give the option, maybe one open world, not 2 continents or something, and just add more into it.
Right, because Africa was the same as Afghanistan.
And then give us cutscenes. And so
I would like a balance.
I want him to do from like what happens at the end of that to him
4-hour movie. I want a 5-hour movie.
Because he finds out about the Patriots in 1995, and he's doing the nukes to like free the people from the Patriots, and so that's construed as like go crazy mode with the nukes and everything. And so I want to know like the story between how he found out about the Patriots and why he went crazy in Outer Heaven.
It would be cool if they did it in a way where, like, you're the good guy and you're taking control of the nukes, and there's a legitimate reason why.
That's why,
and they make everything make sense to where you feel like it, and then maybe at the end you realize you were a bad guy the whole time, but I don't know, because everybody knows that story already. Yeah. That it may not work out in that way.
I just want to know why.
Where did Quiet go? Quiet is going to die now because she spoke, right?
Yeah, she spoke, so they're activated.
The parasites are activated because she spoke, so that sucks. I mean, Quiet was a fucking badass character. I was thinking, oh man, maybe they can do some games with her or she can come back, but I guess it's implied that she just goes off to die alone.
Why didn't she ever learn, like, Russian or Spanish? Or even basic other languages that
she did know other languages.
She knew like Native American or something,
right?
Yeah, she knew Native American or something really crazy. Instead of just like learning what basic things are in Spanish or Russian or something,
right? You could
and
translate
being like,
for
here
her.
You go, translate for me.
Yeah,
like,
everybody knows Spanish. It's like she could have been like to the point, "Donde está la or la snake?" or something. You know, what is snake in what?
Viura?
No, that's not.
The snake?
No, that's not. In Spanish, no.
Viura?
No.
Yes.
My grandma says something else. Maybe there's Puerto Rican slang or something.
Puerto Rican.
I know, but those aren't different languages. But there must be some slang word because she's really scared of snakes and spiders, and so. But what she says, I don't know. She talks too fast for me, so I was probably completely wrong. Anyway, so yeah, and that's a good point. That's a really good point. And but I just like Quiet as a character. You know, obviously when her other costumes came out, number one, they were more badass, so I was equipping them anyway. So you know, the whole she sexualized thing gets taken care of. I wish that they would have just started with. Here's the thing. If her character was modeled, I hear, like, after the end has the same sort of powers as her. He's this photosynthesis kind of thing like she is. And you look at his costume and he's completely covered. He's, like, wearing a bunch of plants. So the whole reason that she's naked is fucking bullshit. Because of the end. So anybody who's still arguing in how that's not objectifying and it has purpose in the story, you're a fucking moron. Just admit it. Nobody's trying to judge you. Just own up to it, and then we can have a discussion about it in the future, and whether it's better to have, you know, Quiet in badass military gear, and then when she gets freaky with Snake, boom boom, here it comes. Does that feel more badass than here she is, and then the camera and Snake's, you know, I don't want to be a creeper. It's like the fucking Superman Returns, where he's like floating above that guy's house. He's like a deadbeat dad. I was like, fuck you guys for doing that to Superman. It's the same kind of shit. You walk in. I wanted to visit Quiet right after I captured her because I was like, oh, she's gonna fuck people up. She's probably like beating people up down. I go in there and they're playing ha 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 something. Yeah, you know, and then I don't want to get flagged. That's why I made up my own words. But anyway, so she's got her top off and she's like, you know, fucking swinging her legs around. And then what she does in the helicopter, I'm like, God damn it. So anyway, the point was, if she was in the badass gear and then she got naked a few times in her bikini for the shower and for the different things, nobody would be saying shit. No. They wouldn't. And that's what I hope to see in the future. I don't know if Quiet will ever come back. I want to bring her back. I heard that you can keep her if you put you put the logo as the butterfly. But you can't. But you fuck up the game because you don't get 100%. No. And if you don't get 100%, you don't get the true ending. No, you do to get the true ending, but you don't get 100%. No. Right?
I you don't think you get truth.
I don't know. I didn't do it that way. So anyways.
No, I didn't either. I lost her. I was like, screw it. Honestly, D-Dog's better.
Yeah,
I saw Joe does D-Dog.
I like D-Dog very much, but I like Quiet almost as it's hard to choose because Quiet is the fucking sniper, and I loved equipping her sniper rifles and just taking everybody out. Yeah. Fire.
Did you ever get
Fultoning them.
Did you ever get your stun arm fully upgraded?
I think so.
If you get it fully upgraded, you like wind your arm up and then you go wah into the air and lightning stuns everyone in an entire base with like a dome of lightning. It's so cool looking, dude.
I need an upgrade.
Like if you go to an outpost.
I saw a video. Yeah. I saw a video of the arm shooting.
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah, you did that.
Yeah, the Ragan arm.
There is so much cool shit. The game gets cooler shit towards the end. There's even that like fucking teleport and the Fulton changes. I love the Fulton. I don't like that. I love the real Fulton. I want that little keychain that they showed off in the Metal Gear Online. Those things, Joe, you should see these things. They're like, I mean, they're genius.
They're awesome. Genius. I would buy 12.
It's a Fulton. Me too. Anyways, this is getting super long, so that's our discussion and our spoilers and just talking games. We would like to do this for future reviews. You guys give us some like feedback on, you want to hear more behind the scenes stuff, or do you want to hear more spoiler stuff about the games? Another reason I can tell you why it took me so long to do this review. This is actually the review that took me the longest to do. I think it came out 2.5 weeks late. Yeah. Normally my reviews are 1 week late, and that is because it's difficult for me to get review copies because companies know I'm going to give it to it honest. I'm going to give brutal review, and honestly, companies are more and more starting to give review copies only to on release day. And of course, your big boys like IGN and GameSpot, they're going to get it no matter what. Because in the case of Metal Gear Solid, you had to go to a specific area where they would monitor you while you review the game, and you could go there for like every day for a week. Yep. But that's just creepy as fuck. And I was like, I'm not gonna fucking do that. They didn't invite me, but I wouldn't do it if they invited me. But they were not. But see, the PR guys are still nice because they want to give it to you at release day, and they know it's kind of messed up. But it's orders that come from a
It's not their decisions.
Yeah. So obviously my reviews are usually 1 week late. What made it 2 weeks late is me and Joe went to San Francisco. We had several business meetings, and we also got to record the exclusive for Total War. You guys know I'm a huge Total War fan. I couldn't pass that up. Yeah, well,
I was jealous.
I love Warhammer.
I was jealous,
and I love that. So I had to do that, and so that delayed it another week. And then I got the diagnosis with some different things about my health, so that took a little while. But no, we're all cool now. So I still got to get the surgery, but it's all cool. So so that's why the review took a little bit longer, and we're hoping that it's not going to take that long. We're gonna in fact. Joe's computer is still over there. It's not open yet, but we're going to probably set it up here until we finish getting it moved in, which is pretty much almost done. And then you've got the computer at your house. We're going to do a video about that, just showing you how much more content we're going to be able to bring with 3 dudes. All right? Okay, so thank you so much for watching, and we will see you guys on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye, guys.